It's your boy Sin City, aka Mr. Ooh, aka Curtis Mayfield, third, fourth, and fifth. Here with Mikey T, the movie star, on Report Card Radio, 7:30. Ooh.
Sun City, man, it's dope to have you on the channel, man. You know, this is another piece of my Dipset history, I guess I could say.
Okay.
So take me into your early life, man, like growing up in Harlem. What are some of your memories, man? OT at 12 and all.
Yeah, yeah. I try not to think about it too much because I think it's sad. I don't really, pump that I was in the streets at an early age, but it is what it is. I used to hang around a lot of older dudes, you know what I'm saying? I got put on a different shit when I was little, unfortunately. Not the way I would want to raise a kid if I had one. You know what I mean? And which involved like, narcotics and guns and shit like that. And shit I shouldn't have been seeing at that young of an age. You know what I mean? I wish my life was like took a different route. But then again, like I use it all for my knowledge today, what to stay away from. Being that I was, around a lot of older dudes or whatever, they taught me, they kind of schooled me to the game a little bit as far as like how to act and what to do in the streets, how not to get killed, and everybody get their scars. You know what I mean? You got to go through that if you're in the street. But yeah, just not a real happy childhood, I would say. You know what I mean? Nothing I would put on another kid. But I went through what I went through, so I guess whenever I have a kid, they won't have to go through it. You know what I mean?
How was it leaving New York at an early age and heading down south? I know Freaky actually has a lot of roots in the Carolinas as well.
Freaky actually made roots in the Carolinas. His family is like based in Texas, but North Carolina. I don't really think Zeke has any blood relatives in North Carolina. I think he just went down there and started getting money. And Cam was on the road in '98, so I think ever since then he's just been dipping and dabbing down there. Because I don't recall seeing no. We used to go down there a lot. I used to go down there a lot with him. I don't recall seeing no aunts and no uncles and nothing like that. Like, or his aunts and uncles is up here or in Texas, I think. So he might have a different story. I don't know, but I didn't see no relatives. And I'm super cool with his pops and his mom. So you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know the unfortunate story of Freaky, South Carolina, had to serve a couple of years in jail.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Airport?
Huh?
The airport where they caught Freaky with all the ecstasy and stuff?
Bus station.
Bus station. Crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was that before Dipset blew up?
Yeah. It was right at the time. Actually, me and him went in almost at the same time because I seen Zeke one day. I seen him at a soul food restaurant, and it was '03, and yeah, it was like 2003, and I seen him. He said, "What's up with your case?" I was like, "I'm gonna just cop out, you know what I mean, 2 to 4." And he was like, "Me too." He was like, "Why you biting?" I said, "Yo, this nigga's crazy, man." So he went in probably after that, and then I went in after him. Cause when I got to the Rikers Island, I was trying to get in his dorm, cause I heard they like, "Yo, Zeke wondering where you at." He like, "Yo, he eat like Chinese food and drink Alizé almost every other day." So I'm like, "Yeah, I got to get to that dorm, man." Like, yeah, like oh my bad. Like F that, man. I don't want to eat jail food and commissary. Like if he getting bottles of alcohol and Chinese food, that's where I need to be, man. Like Zeke had it on Smash in there, so.
So during your incarceration, did you ever get to meet up with Zeke?
No, nah, they shipped me out. They shipped me up north. I think he was still on the island, and I think they shipped him down south. When I left the island, he was still there, and they shipped me up north, and then later on they shipped him down south. So when we both came home, I came home the end of '06, When we both came home or whatever, that's when we linked up and formed 730. And then '07, that's when we was, out there.
So can you tell me a little bit about your early life growing up in the South, man? You know, growing up from North Carolina to New York?
South Carolina.
Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't it wasn't really nothing really going on down there, man. Like it was, I was a little kid. Like I did everything everybody else did. Played baseball, played football. Not really basketball. Just like a little country nigga, man. Like what I mean. It only turned hood like when I was about to leave, and that's why when I used to go back and forth, then I was like, damn, this shit getting bad down here. Like the drugs and the. Last time I was actually down there to visit, my family had something, and my grandmother like, don't go outside, like it's a lot of gangs out here, and I was like, whatever, man. And I was walking up the street with a girl that I brought down there with me, and a car just pulled up, looked like Boys in the Hood, how they roll down the window, how Ricky rolled down, not Ricky, but the red car rolled down the window, and they was just looking like, I'm like, oh, they about to fire on me, man. I'm like, damn, they probably mistaken me for somebody else, but I ain't gonna sit here and explain myself. So we just looked at each other, and they just pulled off. I'm like, yeah, that shit, it's crazy over here now. You know what I mean? But as far as down south, ain't no real experience. You experience, racism. Like I experienced that, when I was little, being that, South Carolina is one of the hearts of racism, but that's about it. Ain't nothing to really talk about.
So, so City,
I'm sorry.
when did you realize that music could be a possibility for you?
I don't remember the year, but I wanted to hear myself on a CD, and I just wanted to hear myself. You know what I mean? Like I didn't care about rapping. I didn't think that would have ever been a future of mine. So I didn't have dreams of it, and I just did it one day. And my man was like, Jet Lag Ash at the time. He was like, "Yo, do another one. Now do another one. Now do another one." And it was on after that. But the first time I did it, I just wanted to hear myself on a beat. That's it. So I wrote a rhyme, and they liked it. You know what I mean? So he just told me to keep going, and I just kept going. And then it became addictive. Like, nah, I got to write a rhyme today. I got to write a rhyme. And then it was on after that. And then once I started getting paid for it, it was like, oh, this is easy. Like, you know what I mean? And then once Z gave me a car at first, I was like, hold on, this is crazy. Like, I could do this. You know what I mean? Like, this is light. You know what I mean? Something that would take me to write. I write a hook in 15 minutes, and I get paid for it. And all I gotta do is just be in the studio and when you're in the studio, you're not outside spending money. You chilling. You know what I mean? And it's easy. It's too easy to say. It was too easy to say no. So I just, you know what I mean, kept going, and I got more and more things as I progressed.
So was your first taste of the music industry with Cam and Jim Jones?
With Zeke.
Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke started 730, and the first convo he had, he said, "Yo, I want to start this thing," and they gave me a record deal. So, I know you and Ash for rapping or whatever. Like, let's do it. So he was like, because I could rap a little bit, but I want people around me that know music. So, and then we did a mixtape, which was fun as hell. I had a lot of fun doing that mixtape, and then I remember he stepped to me and he was like, "Yo, I got 5,000 for you," and I'm like, "What? For what?" And he's like, "Nigga, all the music we did, like they bought the first mixtape." So I'm like, "Oh, that all right." And then we started doing his album. We was doing his album too. And then, just being a fan of different people. And I remember when he called Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne was like Michael Jackson at the time. He was super popular. He called Lil Wayne and was like, "Yo, I got my artist here, Sin City. We listening to this beat. and I want you to, it's dope. I want you to put a verse on it. So Wayne was like, send it. So I was like, psh. So I wrote the hook in Zeke kitchen. We went to Juelz studio, probably like an hour after that. And I laid it down. He sent it to Wayne. Zeke laid his verse. He sent it to Wayne. Wayne sent it back like the next day. That was beat without bass. So yeah, I was like, yo, this is kind of easy. You know what I mean? And Zeke had a little name anyway. Like he knew all the industry people, so it wasn't like we was trying to get in the door. He was in the door. He had a deal already. You know what I mean? So
Wow. Wow, that's crazy right there. So Freaky brought you in the door. Can you tell me about when he actually introduced you to Cam and Jim?
I knew Cam and Jim and Zeke since before all the music shit. You know what I mean? Like me and Jim never really hung out. We just knew each other. Me and Cam, used to cross paths because I'm from a block where everybody is from. Like Jim is 4 buildings. It's A, B, C, D building. I'm from the A building. Me and Duke the God is from the A building. Dame Dash is from the B building. Jim is from the C building. Cam had a grandmother, rest in peace, from the D building. So he used to be back and forth from 40th to that building. So and Zeke was from Washington Projects, which is like a 7-minute walk. So he used to be over there because our complex is known for having a lot of girls. So he used to come over there and mess with the girls. So that's how I met Zeke. And then when we was younger, he got shot. So that was like a big thing. Like he got shot at a school dance or something. You know what I mean? Like we didn't go to the same school or anything. So me and him actually started talking about it when I met him the second time. Like, yo, you got shot. So, we little. So it's like, I mean, he's older than me, but it was like, yo, it's kind of having a stripe on you. It's like having what do you call that shit? In the army, it's like a ribbon.
How did you go from joining Dipset to being at, TV channels like BET?
730 Dips. Well, like I said, we was working on Zeke mixtape and his album, and we all used to record at Juelz studio, and then Max used to record there when he came home whatever time he came home, and I remember Zeke was like, "Yo, we gotta do a joint," and then I think we was all playing 2K, and then Max and Zeke went in the room. Max laid it down, and I heard the beat playing, and then I just went in there and laid my vocals. I didn't drive that car that time, so that's how we was all using the same studio. Max would use it, and then maybe at 7 p.m. we would come in, and then we would use it, and then he would leave. You know what I mean? Or he would stay, or we just play 2K. Juelz studio was like a fun room. You know what I mean? Like you could do anything in it. Drink, bone, make music. Like it was the place to be, man. His studio was, I'll never forget that studio. Great studio.
So you guys were all at the BET Awards, you were saying?
We all went to the BET Awards in Atlanta. It was the Hip Hop Awards, and oh yeah, that story. Me and Max was playing 2K for money, and me and Zeke was supposed to go meet Jim at the mall. Was they shooting that? They were shooting a big video. I think it was the Khaled video. They were shooting one. I think it was the Khaled video. No, they were shooting the Busta Rhymes and Ron Browns, the A-Rap Money video.
Okay.
And me playing 2K, I didn't make that video. Me and Max playing 2K, like we didn't make that video. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So is that a regret you would say you guys would have, or you don't really care?
A regret of what? Not being in the video?
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, it was a dope song and a dope video. Like, nah.
Aside from every time you see the video.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Yeah, damn, that A-Rap Money joint. That actually kind of reminds me of Jim's record Pop Champagne a little bit.
Yeah, it got that Ron Browns feel to it.
So, yo, let's talk about a record that you did then. Let's talk about the record Henny with Max B and Freaky. Can you remember making that record for me?
Yeah, that's the record I was talking about. Yeah, that was Henny that we did that day in Juelz studio. Yeah, it was actually that when I heard the beat, I wasn't really a fan of the beat, but Max made that beat come alive. You know what I mean? And we did another record after that. Yeah, Nike Airs, Nike Boots, ACG. Somebody stepped to Zeke and was like, "You do a Nike Boots song." That honestly, that record bugs me out to this day. And me and Zeke never spoke about it. Karen Civil actually, I think, called Zeke and was like, "Do a Nike Boots song." That's when Nike Boots was real hot. And she was like, "And I'm put Wale on it." Because we used to see him all the time going to DC. I used to see Wale a lot before he got put on. Well, he was doing his, I think, the go-go music. He was doing that. And once we finished the record, you know, I put my little input. I didn't write Zeke rhyme or whatever, but I put my little input. Once we finished the record, Zeke called Wayne and was like, "I got another one." So Wayne did it, sent it, and then I heard Wale on it. Then I heard Max doing the hook, and then next thing I know, I think Wale was doing it, saying that it was his record, and I was just like, "This is stupid. Like, what? It should be everybody's record. Who's on it? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand that record, but that was the only work that me and Max ever did. As far as like, you know, we never got a chance to. I know Juelz wanted to see us do a record, just me and him together, you know, on some harmonizing shit, and we didn't get a chance because he fell out with Jim before we even got to seriously work together.
Aside from Henny, of course.
Yeah, but we went and we performed Henny, and they loved it. Me, Max, and Zeke. We actually, the first time we performed that, it was in Charlotte. I think it was CIAA, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. And they loved it. They went crazy. So that was the thing when we was on the road to keep doing that record, because it was getting play in certain states, and it was just growing.
Can you tell me about your relationship with Juelz Santana?
That's my man. That's my boy. He actually Juelz is a good nigga, man. Like he looked out. We needed a studio to because Zeke was signed for an album. The whole mixtape thing was just Zeke's idea, and then we ran with it. So Juelz liked the music that we was doing, so he's like, "Yo, I got a studio. Y'all just use it." You know what I mean? And he basically gave us his studio, even when he wasn't there, and just go in the studio and record any of us. You know, just take care of the engineer. That's it. You know what I mean? But it wasn't, no, you got to do this and you got to pay my engineer. It was just all love, man. Like, he accepted me with open arms. And that was like the first time me and him ever spoke to each other, is when I went over there and started recording. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, he's like, "Yo, like, you could come anytime you want." You know what I mean? Like, and record. Because at the same time, I had to do, I was working on something for myself. You know what I mean? Between doing the 730 mixtape and Zeke album, and I wanted to do something, a couple of things for myself. And then me and Juelz recorded some records, but his studio got raided, and they police, I heard, took the hard drives, and that music is on there, and they never gave it back. So I don't know. Jersey cops work different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy. All the stories that happen around Juelz Santana's studio getting raided. What sort of complications, what other complications did that create for you as far as recording when that studio got taken out?
Actually, it wasn't no complication. It was just feeling missing the spot. Like, that was the spot. You know what I mean? You go in there, even, you know, when you want to clear your mind. Like, I didn't look at that place as work. Even though we did do a lot of work in there, I didn't look at that place as work. But I was feeling more bad for him, because it had a basement, and he turned it into a gym. He had like a room down there that looked like it belonged in some penthouse somewhere. Like, it was just amazing what he did with that basement. It was like a official gym down there, and then on the other side, it was like he had put a glass shower in there. Like, it was this room, we used to call it the black room. It was just dope. It had like plush carpet, and you know what I mean, big TVs, and the bed was It was nice, man. It was real nice. So I felt more. I knew he liked that room down there. I felt more in his whole studio. Actually, I felt more bad for him because they took it. You know what I mean? And I know he worked hard to get that. That booth was like no other. I heard. First of all, you get the best sound in that studio because they built it. They built like a bubble, and then they put the booth in it, and then build. It's in a bubble. You can't see it, but it makes it soundproof. Like you, it's dope. It's crazy. Bro, he spent a lot of money on that studio.
Is that the studio that Wayne came to when they were working on the Can't Feel My Face project? Were you ever a part of any of that?
Yeah, he actually put me on 2 records. He said, "Yo, you want to do some hooks for the Can't Feel My Face album?" I was like, "What kind of question is that?" Yeah, like hell yeah. So I remember Max did a couple of hooks too, and it was a joint. Uh, it was a joint hook that Max did, and I don't know what happened with that, but matter of fact, I think I do know what happened. They took him off for whatever reason, and I did the hook. You know what I mean? Like I put my own hook on there, and then I thought everything was a go, but I think with the legal thing that they had going on, the legal stuff, that's why I didn't come out. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was a part of that. I couldn't wait for it to come out. I was like, ooh, people gonna love this because the music was their music was on another level. You know what I mean? Him and Wayne is very that's dangerous, yo. You know what I mean? And I was happy that Els asked me to lay some vocals on there. So yeah.
So after the records that you had that got put together with Wayne, did you two ever get to meet face to face?
Yeah, we met in Miami, but we didn't really get a chance to talk. The only person I really got a chance to talk to was Birdman. He was telling me like, he appreciated what I was doing and other stuff. But yeah, but me and Wayne, as far as like speaking like one on one, it was just like real quick. You know what I mean? Because I'm at the same time, I have a lot of respect for him in this music shit. You know what I mean? I think he's one of the greatest. You know what I mean? Like I really do think that nigga's phenomenal on that rap shit. You know what I mean? So I was just flattered that you even knew who I was. Like, you know what I mean? Like we just did I'ma Get Mine. The video just came out. And then when Baby saw me, he said, "You? You?" And I'm like, "Me?" Like I didn't know who he was talking to. I'm like you got some shit, boy. I'm like, oh shit, all right. You know what I mean? Like, but then I'm not gonna say I would never get used to that. Like Raekwon told me I'd be spitting, and I was like, what? I said me. I said you. Like you like the originator. Like he told me that in the club one night, and I was just flattered, man. Like I didn't know that certain people hear me. You know what I mean? But then as time grew on, I heard that this person be talking about me, or I heard that person be talking about me, and they'll come from word of mouth or people that's close to them, and it'd be like, for real, that's dope. Why they don't say nothing to me like when they see me? Like I'm approachable, like you know what I mean. You can tell me like I don't get big headed, like you know what I mean. That's the only thing I regret not establishing relationships, but I'm a Harlem nigga, man. I can't see you and just be like, yo, like I'm just not that type, man. Like I mean, it's unfortunate sometimes because they look at me as antisocial, but I'm really not, man. Like you know what I mean. But Harlem niggas is so scared to look like they. Well, I ain't gonna say Harlem niggas because it's a lot of them doing that, but certain people of my character is so scared to look like they sucking to where it hurts you. And I will protest that most of the time it did because it makes me look antisocial and I'm not. You know what I mean? But I just can't see somebody and be like, yo, my nigga, let me get a picture with you. Like it's just not in me. You know what I mean? My man actually works for Floyd Mayweather. And I said, damn. Now I didn't see Floyd. I didn't went to his fight. We walked out. He was doing the McGregor fight. And you know, I was backstage with him. I walked out with him actually with my homeboy that works for him. And then that was like 7 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock in the evening. He was about to go running, maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning, but I was leaving. I was going to drop my boy off, and I said, "Damn, I should have got a picture with him." So he told Mayweather, I think a couple of hours later. So Mayweather, Floyd was like, "Why he ain't asked me?" Like, yeah, I would have gave him a picture. He was like, "You know how some niggas be," and Floyd was like, "I respect it." Because and I'm glad he do. That's all I be wanting. Like I can't just be on no yo, my nigga, let me get a picture. But sometimes the only person I would have chased down in the street and asked for that and wouldn't care what nobody thought is Michael Jackson and Muhammad Ali and maybe Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? But I can't just. But at the end of the day, I'm not antisocial. I'm not, and I don't think that my shit don't stink. I'm a humble nigga. I appreciate everything anybody ever do for me. I'm not like that. I don't look down on people just because you ain't got it. Like I treat everybody the same. I treat the maintenance worker the same way I treat the CEO.
What's your take on Jim Jones actually jumping on Instagram Live with French Montana and ending all the issues?
I think it's dope for them. You know, people are growing up, so you know, I was shocked. I was real shocked because I know how Jim is. Jim don't forget nothing. I think it's showing signs of maturity because I was there through all that nonsense. You know what I mean? So it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any money. So you know why have it? I always thought it was a silly ass beef, but you know it is what it is.
How do you think the people are going to react if Max comes home and, Jim and him were to do a record?
I told him to actually be cool with him years ago. I was like, y'all should just be cool before Max went away. And Jim was like, nah. I think, but like Jim said in his interview, I mean, if it happened, I would kind of be surprised, but Jim said it in his interview, like you cross a certain line, coming back. So I don't know. That's they shit, man. Like I don't care. I don't focus on they shit. You know what I mean? If they make good music again, then blessings to them. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't anticipate anything.
Yeah, the key word being again, man. But like you said, it's definitely a positive thing, him and French getting together on Instagram Live. You know what I mean? Showing the world that they can be mature about the whole situation and get on from what's happened in the past.
Right.
Can you tell me about taking influence from both 50 Cent and Ja Rule?
Oh yeah, the harmonizing part. Yeah, when I heard that, I just thought it sounded real good. So I started harmonizing. I if you want to say I bit that off of them, then okay, whatever. But I just put my own little flavor on it. You know what I mean? I think that's where everybody got theirs from because I don't really remember anybody doing that before. I heard Nas do it one time on AZ album. Just give me, why don't you give me the world? I remember he sung that a long time ago, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds dope." Yeah, like I remember he sung that. I was like, "Nah, fired that shit off. Like he killed that shit." You know what I mean with that. But as far as like me wanting to do it, I was like, "Let me try that." And then because I used to be with another production team, Smalls record label. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mike Smalls and rest in peace Speed. And shout out Real. But we was doing music with them, and somebody passed away, so it was just like we lost the feeling for it. So that's when I started with Zeke, and we did 730.
Were those two guys people that inspired you, though? Were you actually inspired by 50 and Ja?
Like I don't really get inspired no more to this day. I think everybody sounds the same. And if that's what they want to do, then so be it. You know what I mean? But it's a lot of auto tune, and I mean that's the music that took the world over. That's not the type of music that I really want to do. You know what I mean? So yeah, my inspiration. It used to be certain records I used to get goosebumps when that record feels so good, you just get goosebumps, and I can't remember the last time I got goosebumps. Maybe hearing other things, I get. You know what record gives me goosebumps to this day? I Shot Your remix with Foxy Prodigy and LL. I think that record is super dope. And then when 50 did it over, that's another one that gave me goosebumps. That's the sound of trapping that thing, that shit right there. That shit dope.
So you like that old 50?
Yeah, and Cam Down and Out with Kanye. I like that record a lot.
You ever get a chance to interact with the Young G unit before they blew up, went with Interscope?
No, no, I met Yayo later on as we did and I didn't meet 50 till later on. I met Banks while we was doing. He's a cool nigga. I met Banks when we was doing Jim album, the Capo album. I got a song. I'm on a song that Jim put me, Lloyd Banks, and Prodigy on. It's called Take a Bow. It's a dope song. And if you haven't heard it, niggas need to go listen to that. Niggas talking some real shit on there.
Prodigy, one of the greatest of all time.
Facts.
I wanted to talk about if you thought the 50 Cent and the Ja Rule beef was comparable to Max B and Jim Jones.
Oh, hell no. Nah. Hell no. They public knowledge, somebody got shot. You know what I mean? Like, nah. Nowhere near. And it's way above. I think Ja was winning awards when 50 was coming at him. 50 was on the come up. It's totally different, man. That's what I think.
And Jim Jones was selling thousands of units while Max B was coming at him.
But Max wasn't selling the records, and nah, it's different, bro. You got to think about Ja. Not saying that the intensity in the street wasn't the same, but as far as like when you look at it from a music standpoint of view, a lot of people don't know about it to this day. If you ask a couple of girls that bartend right now, they'd be like, "Who? What?" You know what I mean? Like, but everybody knows 50 and Ja, but like it was older people that knew that. You know what I mean? My mother knew that. You know what I mean? Rest in peace. But that's been going on for that was on a bigger stage. Jim and Max shit was like DVDs and beefing and underground mixtape songs, diss songs and stuff like that.
So, City, how did you feel about when Max started throwing everybody else's name into it? You know what I mean? Like your name, Freaky's name, Hell Rel's name. He kind of like tried to battle the whole Dipset. How did you feel about that when he brought you into it?
I was I was upset at first, but then I was upset. And then I talked to a couple of people, and they like, "Nigga, you want shit like that? Why wouldn't you want him to say your name?" So then it became like a joke to me. I ain't take it seriously no more because I knew that was as far as it was gonna go. It wasn't gonna get, you know what I mean? It wasn't gonna go nowhere. You know what I mean? The thing was that all his fans was like hating me. You know what I mean? Like they was hating whatever. Even if the music was dope, they ain't get fake ass Max B, fake ass this, fake ass that, and it was just like, how did I get this name? Like, you know what I mean? But I dug it. I understood it. You know what I mean? I'll never forget. K Slade told me. He said, I said, we did an interview, and I said, "Wow, you ain't gonna ask me no Max B question?" He said, "For what?" He said, "Yo, my man, check this out. You doing what you do. That's your music." He said, "It's just like if I was to stop the Papoose and got another lyrical nigga, they wouldn't even hear the lyrical nigga because they'd be like, he's a fake Papoose." So I said, "Got you." So he said, "Man, don't worry about that shit, man. Like that, all that, his fans coming at you and all that. He got a lot of fans, and he does have a lot of fans. And it was times where I would beef with people on Twitter I think. Yeah, on Twitter, I would beef with people, and next thing you know, those same people is like, "Yo, put you with your music, blah blah blah." So I used to be like, "How does this work? Like, am I supposed to stay mad at you? Like, you know what I mean?" So that's the thing I went through for a while, for a couple of years. You know what I mean? Fake ass Max B, and then yo, with you, I like your music, and then when we got written up in Complex magazine, I I I don't think I'm ever forget that article. A dude said they're not the same artists. Yeah, they harmonize, but Sin does this different and Max does this different. So, but it's all because I was, doing music with Jim.
Freaky wanted to go to the front lines with it when Max and everybody was coming out and embarrassing Dipset. But why didn't he? Why did you guys halt?
What do you mean?
Like, why didn't you guys go all the way with it? You guys sort of pulled back because of the sponsors, it seemed. It seemed like Dipset was too big to beef with Max B.
Nah, that wasn't it. It was actually when you got something to do. I remember I made a diss song, and after I did it, we laughed about it. I actually made it in Juelz studio. We laughed about it because he had dissed me on something. So I made a diss song. It was actually funny. It was hilarious. We was all in there rolling, and then we just never put it out. We just went back to doing Zeke's second mixtape. I can't tell you why certain things didn't happen. It wasn't because of sponsors or anything. It's just I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question actually though, but I don't know. And that's not my plans. I'm glad we didn't, because that's not the plans for the future. Like whatever road he chooses to go on or whatever, then let that be him. I just know, like, when anybody mention me, I'm like, huh? What you say?
Before everything and all the dissension happened, I want to ask you, like, what was a memory that you had with Max B that sticks out in your mind?
We didn't hang out with each other. We didn't, you know what I mean? Like we just saw each other in passing, like in the studio. And as far as the street, I've never seen him in the street. You know what I mean? Like he'd be on somewhere where I'm not at. You know what I
How'd you
mean?
guys get to Charlotte that one time? Did you all just meet in Charlotte? Were you on
Nah, it was a tour bus. I mean, we went to a couple of shows together, like as far as Boston. Jim had a tour bus, you know what I mean? So we all used to get on the tour bus. But all our memories is 2K and gambling. There's no real. That's it. You know what I mean? Like we was cool from what I know. You know what I mean? I don't know. He might have a different story. Like, but from when we around each other, it was it was respect and it was cool. And we talk shit about 2K and that's that. We ain't never talk about nothing else.